mean, it was a crazy game. I told the team, I think it was the first or second media timeout, the second half, that some days you just don't have your stuff, and you don't have it, and you have to find a way. And it was a muddied up game on both ends. Intentionally by us going under some screens and daring a few of them to shoot 3-point shots, and then Ryan did an unbelievable job of protecting the rim, and then their athleticism and length, outside of Alabama, we haven't seen it, and I think it shocked us a little early, and we even turned it over early in the second half, and then we settled in. We had about a 10 or 12 minute stretch where we didn't turn it over, and we were able to create some separation, and obviously the end of the game stuff was not a thing of beauty. But we found a way. We practice that verticality stuff at the rim every day in practice, and the game's on the line, and Jason Green meets him at the rim and changes his shot and, gets us a win. And we've had two crazy finishes with them in this building, and fortunately we've been able to win both.
Questions for the student athletes?
Ryan, what do you think kind of came over you, I guess, midway, not even probably midway second half, but it seemed like your impact on both ends kind of changed the game in your direction?
Yeah, I don't know. We got flowing. I was able to get some blocks, and we were able to get out in transition and get some good looks. I think Jamiya and Isaac hit back-to-back threes, something like that. And, yeah, I think we got some momentum, and we were able to capitalize it. That's really all it was. I was trying to do that the whole game. It was my best stretch for that.
What changed? Ryan mentioned you guys got in a flow a little bit offensively. Hard to do against them, obviously, but what do you think allowed you guys to settle in after that initial shock to the physicality, if you will?
I think we just started playing our game. Once we seen how the intensity was going in the game, I think we kind of settled in and play how we wanted to play. Like Clark said, I made one, then Isaac made one. That got us going. Once we seen it go in the basket, then that type of stuff flows over to defense, and you start getting stops and playing out in transition, and we like to think that we're in shape and we like to run, so I think that helped us as well.
What moment do you think changed it? Was it I think he had 2 blocks on back-to-back possessions and then rim ran a couple of times. Do you remember a moment where kind of that momentum changed or that shifted?
Yeah, I think it was like he said, that stretch of the 2 threes, and then Kalk got the block. I don't know what happened. He came down, he got the block, and then I threw him the lob, and I think that got us going, that got Kalk going, that got the crowd going, and that's when the momentum changed.
What do you felt like either one of you guys defensively got sharper after the initial start where they were up 10 and scoring at a pretty good clip? It seemed like the rest of the first half, those last 10 minutes, they didn't score hardly at all, just from the field.
I think even from the get-go, I think we were making them take shots we wanted them to take. That's also the kind of nature of our defense. We force them into certain shots, and sometimes they make them, but if you stick with it, it's hard to make those shots for a full 40 minutes. So I didn't think necessarily we were bad to start the game. We just made those shots a little tougher as the game went on and kind of wore into them because they're not easy shots.
What impact did you see Ryan's defense have on St. John's at the rim?
I think they started second-guessing themselves a little bit. I think instead of just going in there and jumping crazy and trying to go score, they started hop-stepping and pump-faking and settling for twos and middies. And unfortunately for us, they didn't make them, or they wasn't making a lot of them tonight. So I think his impact made a big difference on what they were doing.
As an expert in vertical walls, how did you grade out Jason's at the end when you were caught chasing the ball?
That was awesome. I mean, Jason does a great job of that every day in practice. I think even Moose was in there somewhere, vertical wall next to him. So, yeah, that was awesome out of them. Mac talked about in the locker room that we practice that every day, and it can kind of get monotonous and boring. But, like games like this, when you have to do it to win the game, we're able to do it. It makes it all worth it, even though you're a little bored in it.
Ryan, after everything you guys have kind of been through the first 13 games, what does it feel like to get one of these gritty, grinded out, last kind of second wins?
Yeah, it feels good because all the teams I've been a part of where we won a lot of games, like you find a way to win some ugly games sometimes. And, when you get a few of those under your belt, that's just a huge confidence booster. Like, we don't have to be at the top of our game to win games. Sometimes we can just fight it out in weird, unconventional ways that we don't really like to play, but we can still get a win even though we're not playing how we like to play.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Happy New Year.
continue with questions for Coach?
That was kind of a replay of A&M in some ways, turnovers, offensive rebounds, especially in the second half. What do you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, they were getting 40% of their offensive rebounds, and what they missed 43 shots. Is that right? And got 14 of them back. So really, comparatively to what they've been doing to everybody else, I thought we hung in there pretty well. 4 of those were teamwork rebounds. We got caught on Zuby a few times in a switch where he got behind us and Kalk challenged a shot. They missed it. He was able to tip it in at the rim. But they're a hard team to get off the glass. I thought our attention to detail of trying to get a body on them was pretty good. Obviously we were sloppy offensively, but they had a lot to do with that as well.
Mac, you guys didn't hit a bucket for the final 4+ minutes. Can you talk about what your defense did down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean it was just good enough. Fortunately, I thought Steven got it in there deep one time and missed one that he's normally going to make. Kalk works in that little floater all the time, and I thought Steven made a great read to get it to him, and that really would have iced the game had he been able to knock that down. So we got a couple shots that we wanted. Unfortunately, we had the turnovers to go with them, and we have to clean that up. But we played some guys. Isaac didn't play much. The last game, I just liked his physicality a little bit better, so I went with him a little bit more. And I thought the fact that they were guarding Mason, whether he was ready to shoot or not, I thought it just created a little bit more spacing for Kalk. So we just went with a couple different guys that maybe hadn't played as much, and it was good for Fedor to get his feet wet a little bit more. So hopefully he can help us moving forward as well.
Probably don't win the game at all if Isaac wasn't tracked on that offensive rebound.
No, huge offensive rebound, huge play in the game, and we had a lot of those. As you mentioned, Kalk really changed the game defensively. The dunk was certainly huge. Mitch Ballack put that play in practice yesterday, and he actually drew it up for the team in that timeout. So Mitch deserves all the credit for that one. But Kalk, I just saw in here that he became the first Big East player in history to have 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, 200 blocks in league play, and that's all great. But man, he's impacted our program in so many other ways, just by who he is and what he's about and what he stands for. And it's hard to lose culture when you have Ryan Kalkbrenner on your team, because he's about all the right stuff. He doesn't care a bit about himself. He's got no agenda whatsoever for himself, and you don't often see that in someone that's one of the best players to ever wear this uniform.
Steven obviously carries a heavy load, 10 turnovers today. What needs to happen from a team perspective to kind of lighten some of that and make things easier when teams throw a lot of length and physicality at him?
Yeah, we tried to set some ball screens to switch the matchups. I thought it stagnated our offense a little too much for the couple times that it worked. I thought it got us into late shot clocks a few times. But we're asking him to do so much. And, I've got to probably put it in Jamiya's hands a little bit more. Against that pressure, Jamiya has 7 assists, 2 turnovers. I'm leaning on Steven too much, and he's not going to shy away from that. But we've got to help him a little bit more.
Mac, Steven and Ryan scored 15 of your final 19. Is that one of those moments where you just kind of lean on the fifth-year veterans?
Yeah, I mean, they've been there, they've done it. We set up a play to get it to Kalk, and he made a nice play on a post feed by Mason, and they've been in these Big East games. They understand it, and Jason and Jackson and Jamiya and Isaac hasn't been in it much. Fedor never has. So we got a lot of new guys playing on this stage, and I was proud of the way that we gutted it out. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but it was very similar to the game last year. And fortunately, we found a way to win.
You didn't have to get one stop, but you did get 2. And, Ryan talked about kind of like how much you guys drilled those type of situations for it to come to fruition.
Yeah, when you're in a panic situation like that, your habits are going to take over. You don't have time to think, and the reaction was great by I haven't seen the play yet, but Jason had a great vertical wall at the rim to at least not let him go straight in. I thought he was going to shoot the 3, and Jason rotated over, did a great job.
Do you have an update on Steven?
Yeah, I mean, I think tweak that knee. The TV guy said it looked terrible on the broadcast, but I didn't see what happened, and fortunately, he was okay.
What did you think of Isaac's game overall? You talked about the offensive rebound, but 9 threes. I thought he held up defensively pretty well.
Yeah, big threes, and I like the matchup with RJ a little bit better than Jackson from a physicality standpoint. I was worried about that coming in, and Jackson's played so well for us, and has been a big reason that we've been able to have some success. But I just felt this afternoon that Isaac's physicality was going to help, and Isaac's been in the gym really trying to work through some struggles with his 3-point shooting, and it paid off. That repetition certainly paid off today.
I kind of asked Ryan the same thing. What did it mean for you, for this team, to get one of these kind of wins?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple at home now. Obviously, Kansas is really good, and St. John's is going to win a lot of games. It's an NCAA tournament team and Hall of Fame coach. So if you can figure out a way to beat them, you got to take it. And now we go on the road for 4 of the next 5. It's going to be a really difficult stretch. We got to get healthy, and now you reach the point where tomorrow becomes a mental day, really, because of the wear and tear today. That was a physical game. So we'll have to learn through some walkthrough and some film tomorrow, and then get some live reps on Thursday and fly to Milwaukee and see what happens.
Talk about Mitch drawing up that one play. I think he got 2 out of timeout a lot of plays there. Would you guys see that you might have an opportunity to get those off in those moments?
Yeah, they switched some things defensively on out of bounds plays, and that was one that Mitch brought to me in practice yesterday, and actually we talked about it at halftime, and I said make sure you have it ready if the situation calls for it, and he was able to deliver. So it's pretty cool for a young guy.
Fedor made 3 big plays in the first half when you guys were underwater. What would you see out of this kind of just the continuation?
I just think I thought he looked deer in the headlights the first time he played, and I thought today he just played basketball. And he still has a long ways to get acclimated into what we're doing and the timing and the spacing and what needs to happen defensively when you're guarding a shooter versus a non-shooter. So there's a lot he has to still learn, and he's going to get better at that as time goes on. But I like the fact he didn't play with any fear. He attacked the rim against a team that's hard to attack the rim on, and made a couple really nice plays.
Like, I think after last year's game here, you called it a mud fight. How would you describe it?
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, it's really physical for a game that didn't have a ton of fouls. We only had 9 fouls, and they only had 14. At least that's the number that were called. But I just thought it was a physical game. I thought there was a lot of collisions at the rim with them meeting us at the rim with shot blocking, and us meeting them at the rim with verticality and shot blocking, and there's 11 block shots in this game. So it was hard to score at the rim, and we won we were able to keep them off the free throw line and at least be even there. And then the 3-point shot was a differentiator for us. We make 9 to their 2, and that extra 21 points is huge in a game like this.
Anything else?
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Matt.